In this video, I asked Roblox developers their story. Stick around to the end because it gets very interesting. Also, if you could drop a like and subscribe, it would really help me. This video kind of took a while to make. Anyways, that's enough talking. Enjoy the video. Today, we are here with WoozyNate, the creator of the massively popular game Fish. And Nate, how did you come up with Fish?
Man, I was playing Stardew Valley, playing Lumber Tycoon 2, and I was looking at Roblox, and I was like, damn, like, there is nothing like this on Roblox. There was nothing. Like, there was a few, but there was nothing like what I needed. There was nothing at all. So I was like, you know what, like, I might as well push it out myself instead.
Alright, next question. If you could go back in time to when you were younger, what would you tell yourself?
Okay, easily learn profile service, and, like, focus more on just dropping projects. Like, I would drop so many projects. Like, every single day there'd be something new, and the next week it would never come to be, ever. And I think that I just needed to, like, have more faith in my abilities, because I'm not gonna lie, man, I was gonna drop Fish. Like, I promised to you. There was, like, at least 5 different times where I was just gonna drop Fish and work on something else, but I kept coming back to it, and I guess that's where it brought me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right?
Alright, third question. Do you have any advice for aspiring developers?
Always create what you want to see on the platform, not what is needed. Like, not what, like, will do the best on the platform. I don't think there's enough, like, passionable projects on the front page. Like, there's so many just, like, cash grabs. And I can't even say Fish is the exception, but there's just so many, like, it's like a minefield, man. There's nothing good.
I agree with that. That.
I think you have, like, if you are passionate about something and you really, like, can show it off in your work, other people will see it exactly how you see it. So, like, always create what, like, you want to make, not what, like, will do the best, if that makes sense.
All right. Well said, Nate. Well said.
Thank you.
All right. Fourth question. What is your favorite Roblox game other than your own, and why?
Right now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'll never leave Deep Woken. 800 plus hours and counting, man. It'll never leave my side.
Deep Woken?
Day one, bro. Yes, man. Everybody needs to play Deep Woken, like I promised, bro. Drop Fish and play Deep Woken. I'm lying.
Whoa.
Buy all the game passes first, then you can go to Deep Woken.
I suck at Deep Woken.
Dude, it's so good, bro. I'll carry you, bro. It's all good. Don't worry, I'll boot you. It's like actually the, like, best game on the platform. Like, you have no idea how bad. Like, I want to get in contact with, like, Arch and Ragusa, bro. Like, I'm their biggest fan, bro. Hit me up, guys.
Hopefully they watch this video.
Yeah, bro. Fish X Deep Woken, man. It's coming.
All right. Fifth question. What was the most challenging time for you as a developer?
Yeah, so I had, like, a 4-year rut of just nothing. Like I said before, like, just dropping games after dropped games, like, every week. And it lasted for so long. Like, there was nothing coming out. I had no growth. Like, even my development, like, knowledge of Roblox, like, wasn't growing, because I just wasn't releasing stuff. Like, I wasn't working past the starting era, like, a project, and it was terrible. It was so bad. And that was, like, easy the hardest, because once again, like, I didn't learn anything at all. Like, it was 4 years of just nothing.
All right, sixth and final question. Where do you see yourself in the next few years, or where do you see Fish in the next few years?
I can answer both. I see myself with at least 2 more games dropped, I would say. Like, I have a few that I'm planning on. Some are solo, some are with a team. Like, I just got a few things they're up my sleeve over the next, like, few years. And for Fish, I honestly see it still on the front page. I think that it's gonna continue to flourish, hopefully. And with that, I see myself still in the project indefinitely. I don't see a day where, like, I'm not part of the Fish team, honestly. All
right, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, Nate, to be with Hira today.
Anything for you, man.
Today, we are here with Maxiimized, the owner of Matrix Entertainment, which developed the game Alta Torture. And Maxiimized, how did you come up with Alta Torture?
Well, that's a pretty interesting question, because the inspiration actually came from a like a third-party game from Steam where you have like two penguins and like with a rope, and it just struck to me like right then when I saw that nobody's ever done something like that on Roblox with like a two-player obby, right? Where you're connected with each other and you have to work together to get higher and stuff. So I mean, that's pretty much where it came from, and then I just started working on it, and yeah, that's the inspiration.
All right, next question. Do you have any advice for aspiring developers?
Well, my best advice is to like slowly step up your like project, right? Just start with something very simple. I don't know, make something like, let's say if you like step on a button or like you click a button, a part just goes away, right? Or like goes invisible. Start with there, right? And then like work your way up. Right, yeah, and then make something more difficult. It's fine if you use tutorials to learn things, but don't rely on them. Don't watch like a create an anime game in like 5 like episodes, right? Don't watch that and then think you can make any game, because that's just not how it like works out. You really do have to put in that time to learn how to code, how to like make stuff, and how to like do it right, like on your own. So my biggest advice, TLDR, is like start simple. Don't expect you'll make like an entire game like within a few months, and just work your way up and never like lose hope, because you will make it. Like you will make it at some point if you just like put that time in, but it will be time consuming.
All right, thank you, Maxiimized. All right, next question. If you could go back in time to when you were younger, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to be more accepting of criticism I got on my stuff, because like back when I was younger, I mean, this is like when I was around 13, and I thought I mean, I didn't really think this, but I was pretty like proud of myself, I guess. I was like a little bit like stuck up, I guess. And like when I like would show stuff to people, and they like they would give me criticism on it, right? And they would like say like, okay, hey, this isn't as good as it should be, as it could be, and you can like improve yourself there, and right. And I would just like throw that away, because I could not like accept criticism very well, and I guess that's something that a lot of like kids deal with. It's very normal to not accept criticism when you're young, but it really does help when someone who knows more about you and like, or like knows more like about it than you do, that like if they give you like tips on something, that you should just like accept it and just not feel like you're being like judged or whatever, because it is meant to help you. When someone gives you criticism, it's like they're trying to make you better at it, right? And that's just something I would like tell myself, to be like more accepting of it. So I would probably be further than where I am right now, or like I would be here earlier if I just accepted people's criticism of like my stuff, like the stuff that I did. That's what I would tell myself. Just be more accepting.
All right, next question. What is your favorite Roblox game other than your own, and why?
I think I'll go. It's a relatively obscure game. It's called Dummies vs. Noobs.
And
it's basically like, you know that game. Yeah, it's a very fun game, very underrated though. But like, I love that game. It's like one of the like it's a PvE game, right? And you don't see that much on Roblox. It's actually inspired me to like for one of my new projects. I have a couple lined up to make like a PvE like class-based shooter, or like it's not really a shooter, but we'll see about it. And I just love that, right? Like they executed, like the reason I love it so much is because they actually executed like pretty good like AI that like actually is able to fight against you, right? And especially like the boss units and stuff, and they have like all kinds of cool attacks that they can do on you, and it's just I don't know, that's why it's my favorite Roblox game. I love it.
All right, next question. What was the most challenging time for you as a developer?
My most challenging time like as a developer, I think it's like trying to overcome the barrier of working with other people, because like when you're a developer and you're like starting to learn how to code and how to make stuff, you learn on your own pace, and other people, they do the same thing. They learn at their own pace and they do their own thing, right? And if you have to like start working together at some point, because your project will inevitably it will become so big that you have to work together with other people. Like, overcoming the challenge of actually being able to work with other people who like do the same stuff as you. Like, sometimes you have two scripters, right? And they could have like entirely different ways of like making things. That can actually like conflict like really, really badly. So, and it's very difficult. For anyone, it's really difficult to like actually work together and make a good team. And I think that's where most people struggle.
All right. Thank you, Maxiimized. Today, we are here with FrancoJ and Awesome Eric, and they are the developers of Tower World. And how did you guys come up with Tower World?
Well, I actually didn't come up with the idea. It was all Franco. I decided to help him back in 2020 on a game that's now called Voidal Towers, and that was the very first version of Tower World. But Franco has a really funny story about that.
Yeah. So, Eric was the one who actually came to me saying that my game, Voidal Towers, was amazing and he wanted to help work on it. At the time, I was just posting Twitter photos of like the in-dev progress, and Eric was being really nice to me. And I was like, hey, you know, I don't know how to make spinning objects of all things. How about you help me work on Voidal Towers, and together we can make a game. And the game actually did end up being wildly successful because not only did Eric help me with the spinners, he ended up doing the back end, the front end, the lobby, everything that needed to be coded, like the portals and the tutorial. This guy, Eric, and I were the only developers on Voidal Towers, and together, just two guys making a game, it got successful, and then it inspired us to make Tower World. Yeah, so the idea for Tower World actually comes from Voidal Towers. It's a remake. And the idea of Voidal Towers comes from my love for the game Jato, which is another similar tower game that I wanted to be inspired off of, and I wanted to make my own twist off of. And so, yeah, that's all.
All right. Next question. What is your favorite Roblox game other than your own, and why?
Jato, we were literally just talking about it. It's because I love obbies. And specifically Jato, I think has like hours and hours of content that you can enjoy, from the easy to the very hard, and especially the very hard. So, and that's what makes me love Jato the most, because it gets challenging and it pushes you to want to try and conquer it over and over. So I always have this feeling of just like being defeated, but it always ends up being like, okay, let me try again. And oh my god, I feel that during development too. But my favorite part about Jato is like the soul crushing towers, because I will never get that feeling anywhere else. And it is like this feeling where your nerves just shoot through your body. You know when your foot falls asleep and you feel that tingly feeling? That is what I feel whenever I beat a soul crushing. I feel that in the tips of my fingers, and it almost feels like you're about to pass out. And it's a really, really interesting feeling, and I've never felt it before until I beat my first soul crushing. I don't know. Eric, what's your favorite game?
Alright, my favorite game is probably Arsenal.
All right.
No.
Yeah. Woo!
I'm like level like 500 on that game, but you know, I've always been a fan of shooting games since I was little. I was like so obsessed with like Call of Duty, Halo, Battlefield, all of that. And now today I play online games like Valorant and Overwatch with my friends. And yeah, you know, you can think of me as toxic, I don't care. You can think of me as whatever, but I'm not a toxic person. I'm nice, I know how to have fun. But Arsenal is kind of like my home. It kind of like gives me peace, because after especially losing to a bunch of ranked games on these games, I get to run around and just shoot kids and just watch them cry and rage at me. And it just gives me that satisfaction. It's great.
All right. Next question. What was the most challenging time for you as a dev?
Alright, so the most challenging time for me was balancing my college work with Roblox development. So right now I'm studying computer science, which means, you know, I code for everything. I code for fun, I code for my work, I code for studying, I do everything with code. And I could get really tired from it all. You know, I barely sleep, sometimes I barely eat, and at times I just don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to hole up in my room and just do whatever. But, you know, as long as I make Robux, as long as I make money from it, I'll be alright.
I think my most challenging time was COVID. There was a lot of going on during COVID for me, especially because it was like near the end of COVID where they made you go back to school and you had to wear masks. And so I had school on top of COVID, on top of the fact that my parents divorced around the same time. and that time was specifically 9/11, which is actually the time that we're recording right now. Not the
That is
9/11,
true.
but a 9/11. 2 years ago, 9/11. Also, today is the anniversary of my girlfriend and I's 1 year. So there's a lot to celebrate on 9/11, you know? My girlfriend's anniversary, my parents divorced, the time that the planes hit the two towers.
All right. Next question. What was the worst thing that ever happened to you as a developer?
Again, it was 9/11. I think we already talked about this, but that's also the best thing, so. I don't know. The ride's been pretty smooth. Me and Eric haven't really had any troubles developing Tower World. I don't think there was any troubles developing any other games outside of that. Like, I worked with Cracky 4 to make Breakin' 2, and that was pretty smooth. I built the entirety of it. We're both really chill, so there hasn't really been a major stump in development with me. But I feel like for a lot of other developers, it is really hard to stay out of trouble. Like, especially Roblox developers. Believe me. Eric and I are like really good together, and we're really good people, so we really want to deliver the rest of Tower World together. And I don't think we're ever gonna do anything that jeopardizes like the positions that we have.
The worst thing that happened to me was when my Roblox account got hacked and compromised like a couple of years ago, and I lost like 1.4 million Robux.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
Dude,
had
that's
to
so
email. I know it is. It's like what, like $3,000 or $3,800 or something like that. But I had to email Roblox to give me a rollback and just get all my Robux back. And I only got about half of it back, so it still kind of sucked that that happened to me. And the Robux was from a game that I made called Head Destroyer. And it just felt like all the rewards that I earned from putting in the hard work and effort into that game was just taken away from me so suddenly and so instantly. It was really demotivating. I didn't want to develop anymore. But I'm a lot more aware and careful now, and I stopped whining and crying about it after a couple weeks, and I'm better now, so here I am.
All right, next question. And last question. Do you have any advice for aspiring developers?
I do. I have
What-
advice for aspiring
What's your advice,
developers.
FrancoJ?
So, a lot of aspiring developers have big dreams. Something that make people want to go and look at you and say, wow, I want to be just like him. I had that dream. I wanted to be somebody that people are inspired by, right? Our projects like Voidal Towers and Tower Worlds aim to achieve that. But you see, what people don't realize when trying to start their dreams is that you can't just jump right into it. You need to have practice. You need to start smaller so eventually you can make it there. Because if you skip those steps, you're gonna find it really difficult. In your early stages of development, dedicate that time to learning the mechanics of development. Blender, Studio, if you voice act, get a f***ing microphone that works. See how other people do it. Then, talk to those people that do it. Talk to people that share similar interests with you, that have a similar personality or status with you, and then you guys can become buddies, and eventually, when you guys make that game that clicks, even if it's small, you still get popularity off of it, and you can use that success to then make something even bigger and do it again and again, but bigger and bigger. That's how you should start development if you're aspiring to be a developer.
All right, thank you,
That's it.
FrancoJ.
When I was talking about balancing college work with Roblox development work, like, I was pretty unhealthy, and my advice would be, do not be like me when I was working during the school year. Make an effort to take care of yourself and be healthy. Eat well, sleep a lot, drink good amount of water, socialize with people, and actually go outside and touch grass. Your brain will become much more healthy, it'll become much more functional, and you'll be a lot more productive when you're working.
That is so true. I feel so much more productive when I'm not cold and when I'm not hungry. That's why I'm always eating. That's why I'm always eating in cold. I'm actually eating like right now. I'm eating some saltine crackers. You wanna hear?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out today. This is Trelakor. He's the creator behind games like Drop the Number, Job RNG, and Trelakor's Tower of Heaven. And you may remember him from one of my past videos. So anyway, Trelakor, how did you come to start these projects?
Right. So I started working on a whole bunch of things. I started as a scripter, like, I don't know, maybe like 6 years ago. I don't even remember, right? But I met, some friends like Kirby's As and, so some other like small dev friends, right? And I got bored and decided to, test my abilities, test my scripting skills, and I made Trelakor's Tower of Heaven because I really loved obbies, and I wanted to make something that was like a piss baby easy version of Tower of Hell. And I was like decently prominent on Twitter and sort of, promoted the game on like my YouTube channel, on my Twitter, and had, people in the community basically play the game. It was just a whole random small thing. It took like a few days to even put together.
Okay.
And yeah, no, it was an interesting experience. All it was really was just me testing out new things.
All right. Next question. Do you have any advice for aspiring developers?
I would say try and find something you're interested in and just stick to experimenting, basically. Like, don't try to up yourself so much. Try and like complete things and learn more and more as you go, basically.
All right, that's valid. That's valid.
Like 2 or 3 days ago, I found a game called Devis of Creation. It's like a super high prod RPG game. I love it so much. Really good game. It was released like a few weeks ago, and I like just found out about it. It's super good. I love it. Like the quests, the story, everything is just amazing.
All right. Next question. If you could go back in time to when you were younger, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to finish everything that I started because as a developer, I really don't have much to show for. Like all the games you probably just heard Blue Exor say, you probably don't even know about. But I've worked for a lot of bigger people, like just small contributions, like especially for UI design. Like Franco and Eric were once interviewed. I did like some of the UI for that game ish, and yeah, no, I work just sort of all around. Like I'm also on the Please Donate team, and not as a developer, but I've been like near the beginning of like a lot of the starts of these projects, and yeah, if I finished a lot of the stuff that I started, I feel like I would have a lot more to show for, because right now I'm mainly known as a designer, but I'm still very capable in terms of like development. Made some big things on my own, so I'm quite proud of where I am, but I wish I did more.
All right, that's a W. That's a W. All right. Next question. What was the most challenging time for you as a developer?
Okay. I basically had tried to kickstart my own studios before. They were probably going to be like my biggest things, right? And then this sort of like goes back on like the whole finish everything you start type of thing. But I've worked with like really good friends of mine, try to kickstart a bunch of studios and stuff. But what ended up happening was it was either, like me not being the greatest of management, or not finding like the most reliable people, because in all fairness, if I had released some things would be so much like cooler, like oh my god, like I would be doing so much more right now. But it was unfortunate that a lot of studios of mine had sort of collapsed, and I don't know, it was a lot of demotivation for me, a lot of like me not willing to dabble into doing what I'm capable of. I don't know, it was mainly just a lot of disagreements, a lot of things falling apart, but I don't regret any of that, because obviously I'm able to learn from these things, so I don't know. But yeah, no, a lot of that stuff is rough. So
Well said, well said.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
I'm currently comfortable where I am, but in the future, I do want to, elevate a little more, start my own things. I want to basically just make a whole bunch of cool things for the platform, whether it be like, massive video content, massive games. I don't know, I just want to bring a lot of what I have dreamt of to life, basically, because, I don't know, there's just so much that I wish I could do now. It's just going to take a lot of time to bring all of that to life, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, I'll own some studios by then or something. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, Trelakor.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that's the end to this video. This video actually took me so long to make, and I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And YouTube thinks you'll like this video next. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.